is the age of smart machines and smart cars, smart scooters, electric vehicles, because we all want to save the planet. And it's important today. Today is the age of smart, disruptive companies that are trying to make a change and help us make the planet greener, or at least, kind of bring a stop to the amount of pollution that we've already caused. And this is where you could build a career. You who are going to be graduating from engineering colleges in the next few months, this is a beautiful goldmine of opportunity that's coming up. And to discuss this today on First Job Talks, episode number 33 of season 2, I've got with me someone from a very interesting company called Ather Energy. Ather is a company that makes smart electric scooters. That's right, and you will see more of them and hear of much more. They are currently setting up their grids in Chennai and Bangalore, but you will see them all over and you will hear of them very soon.
This is the Ather 450. Now, it looks like a scooter,
but it's not a scooter.
This is the Ather 450, way beyond a scooter.
And to discuss all this today, I've got with me Sirish Batchu, who is Vice President Digital Technologies at Ather. Hi, Sirish.
Hi.
Thank you for joining us, and thanks for coming in to talk about what your organization does and how and what engineers should be looking to do in a company like yours.
It's my pleasure being here.
Why don't we start with, why don't you tell us a bit about what your company does and how can, what kind of opportunities should engineers look at when they're looking to join a disruptive company which is into smart vehicles, electric vehicles?
Well, as you already said the context, so we are into providing or making the smart electric scooters. And when I say smart scooters, traditionally the mobility space has been flooded with vehicles which take you from point A to point B and then your job is done. But this goes beyond transporting you from one place to another in terms of how you are connected or how you are engaged with your vehicle. And that is where we bring in the kind of experiences through products what we build. And being electric in nature, so one of the basic tenets is it is of course a sustainable and green product, but then it goes a lot beyond that in terms of having a connected scooter where you can know exactly at any point of time what the status of the vehicle is, what the battery charge is, and all the messages coming to your mobile phone in terms of any kind of alerts which are happening on that, and so on and so forth. So this is what the customer facing phase of the vehicle is, but a lot more intelligence which goes inside to make it much more smarter, to make much more energy efficient and to meet the needs that the customers have. So there's a whole lot of development, whole lot of interesting things in terms of when they're designing the product, when creating the product, is happening under the hood over here.
Right. This sounds very interesting and very futuristic. I mean, having an app with a scooter is like such a cool thing. And then you're also saving on pollution. So tell us about the journey now, about how did Ather start, where did it start from and where is it today and where are you going literally on the scooter?
Okay. So the history of Ather dates back about a little more than 5 years. So Ather has completed 5 years recently. And it started with the co-founders, both Tarun and Swapnil, coming up with this idea during their time in IIT Madras, saying that they wanted to do something in the energy area and then explore something new. Of course, energy is a field where a lot of innovation is happening as well as has to happen. So I think this idea struck to them, saying that we want to do something in the energy space, and then they came together. They started thinking about what can we possibly do. So initially, they started with the idea of saying, why don't we build battery packs and then provide clean and green energy in that fashion. But once they started getting on this journey, they realized that, perhaps this is not going to sell, because to consume batteries, somebody has to have a product which consumes the batteries and stuff. That's where the focus shifted from just energy alone to having a product which manifests on a greener and a cleaner energy part. And that's where the mobility product, the scooter, took birth. And over, I think, the initial few months and years, the core team, which was formed around their friends and then the like-minded people who got together and started conceptualizing this, building this whole stuff. I think there's an exciting video which is also there on the social media which covers this journey part. It's really good to see in terms of how the company evolved. So at a certain stage, when the product started taking the maturity, so that's when the idea of launching in the market and all those things came. And the final product, what you see, which got launched last year in July. So that was the result of the four plus years of effort which has gone through in terms of making it not only interesting, exciting, but giving something to the market which the customers can use. At the same time, it can be reliable and it can be robust and meet the demands of what it takes when the rubber hits the road, right? So this is how the journey has been. And the first product, thankfully, initially there were a lot of ideas of what all should go in that, and then a lot of trials with the customers, and then refining the product ideas and stuff. So what you see in the market, and one of the best, I would say, reception for us has been in terms of our customers who has taken this product. So they themselves are so happy and so passionate about the product. Every other day you keep seeing tweets on Twitter saying that, yeah, this is what I have done with my scooter, and they even decorate like their own what you call babies and things like that. And one of the biggest testimonials for us has been in terms of when we had this launch in Chennai. So we were wondering how to set up the entire promotion, and we just tossed an idea saying that why don't we involve our customers also who can talk on our behalf. And we were really overwhelmed with the kind of response what we got. So 50 plus customers who traveled together with us from Bangalore to Chennai and taking their own scooters and then making the scooters available for test rides for the potential people in Chennai who are interested in looking at this. And they became our face and our voice, and they were so passionate about occupying the stage and explaining the product more than what we could have done. And I think this is the best ever one could hope as an OEM, that your customers are so excited about what you're building. So this is where we are. Going into future, of course, we are looking at multi products in this space, where we started with one which is called the 450. And there are a couple of products in pipeline which are going to come. And then, so as the market is opening up, as more and more interest is coming, so this is a very exciting area to be in.
Phenomenal. What an interesting story. And I mean, this is more like a movement where your clients are ready to come and not just endorse, but go out and talk to everyone and say, buy this thing. Brilliant.
That's been, I would say, really overwhelming for us.
Yeah. And it must be such an amazing thing for employees to also have worked on it and created such a beautiful product. I mean, that's a great message for all our people who are listening in, that, it's not just joining a company, it's also about making an impact, not just to an organization and to your life, but also to the environment, and creating such a wonderful product that becomes a movement. So what does a company like yours look for in an engineering graduate?
Well, if you look at the company, I mean, one of the differentiators what we have here is the company is full of energy. I mean, it's not just the name which goes by, but the entire team which is behind creating the products and the experiences, full of energy and very dynamic team over here. So that is one thing what we look for when we are looking at fresh engineers, is to carry a certain amount of passion. So it's, many jobs you'll find that, you join a big company and you're told what to do and things like that. So, but we are looking for people who come with a certain passion, they want to do and connect with our purpose, what we have set forth as a company, and then be a part of the journey where together we are co-creating the kind of products and experiences and creating the differences in the market as well as the society. So that is one of the basic things. Plus, that added with certain capabilities, of course, what we look at in terms of the problem-solving capabilities. Plus, On the technology side, you would see a lot of students getting, I would say, carried away with technology jargon, saying that if I take this technology, this is what the technology will do for me. But the way we will look at it is the technology we would like to apply for real life problem solving. And I think that passion is what we're looking at, to how to adopt the technology or how to apply the technology to solve real life problems rather than pursue technology for the sake of it.
Thanks. That really helped in understanding what roles and what kind of work they should look at, and the core that you're really looking for. So how should, say, a third or fourth year engineering student prepare for working with you?
Well, one thing what I would like to say is, of course, you have the subjects what you study and things like that, but how can it be practically applied? I think that's what the key lies. So take on more and more, I would say, projects, and get your hands dirty in terms of trying to solve the problems and applying what concepts you're learning to bring it to real life. Because end of the day, once you're done with the college, once you're out of the college, so just having a theoretical knowledge is not sufficient. So the more and more you do the projects, the more and more you apply and try out new things with what you learn. I think that's what will be a big value for yourself as well as for the company where you go to work for.
Right. So if you can help me just illustrate, what are the typical questions that you ask in an interview, for example?
Typical questions, see, it depends on what discipline we are looking for and what, say, streams we are recruiting for. We look for multiple people with multiple backgrounds, for example, on a mechanical side or the vehicle design side, or somebody coming with pure design thoughts and concepts and ideas. And also on the other side, in terms of the software development, the electronics design. So we have a combination of people whom we recruit and who join us. So it depends. So the typical questions, some of them will be very subject specific in terms of knowing the depth of understanding what they have developed during the course of their studies and things like that. The other set of questions would be more in terms of your problem solving capability. So it is irrespective of the discipline where you come from, what kind of a thinking do you apply, what kind of a problem solving thinking you demonstrate, and your whole approach to solving problems. I think that makes a lot. So many times what we see that when a problem is given, when you're looking for solutions around it, there could be multiple ways you approach it. So are you thinking simple? Are you thinking complex? I think these are what some of the characteristics what we look at. Of course, the questions would vary depending on what what we look at, but these are the core characteristics what we do.
Okay. Oh, that helps. You talked about, and I think this is one of the rare few companies which actually looks at a different, a range of engineering themes. So from core engineering to electrical to electronics to software and IT. So if you could just help us understand which are the different functions that you broadly have, and what are the kind of opportunities that are available in that sense, because I'm sure all our listeners who are here are from various fields, and it'll be interesting to know what all is available.
So the way the company is organized is there are focused verticals around multiple functions what we do. So there is a business team which focuses on the customer front ending and then making sure the customer relationship is managed, and then the sales and all those things are taken care of, marketing. Then there is a product team in place. The whole idea of the product team is to define how the product should look like, what attributes it should carry, and what the design aspects of it, and defining the entire product strategy, what is required for us. Then there is a complete engineering vertical where there are multiple disciplines of engineering which are required to realize the product, where it starts from the vehicle engineering, the vehicle design, plus the mechanical teams, plus the electronics, software, all sitting together under the engineering verticals. Then there is a manufacturing team which is out there, which takes all the engineered product and then brings it to life in terms of bringing the product to life. So these are the different functions and verticals what we have in the organization.
I'd love to hear about the culture in the company, because this is like a disruptive company which is no longer a startup and yet working on a very cool space, and importantly also looking at multiple streams of engineering. So what kind of a culture do you have?
On the culture part, I must say that we are having a very open culture, and this is an evolving organization still. So as we are growing, we are having many people joining the teams. But at the core of it, we follow a philosophy called TAS. It's a think as a species. And this is something which we evolved over a period of time, starting from when the company was founded with the initial core team, and then bringing in a certain value system of what is there. So what it means is it's knowing your true north as an individual as well as the true north of the company where we want to align. At the same time, there are multiple other values which go along with that. The idea being not bringing in much of a hierarchy or a corporate kind of a cultures, but having that kind of flexibility where people thrive and be more creative, be more innovative, and creating a similar environment both in terms of the interactions as well as the day-to-day work setup what we have. So if you come to our office, you'll find that it's pretty vibrant in terms of the color, themes, and the way the entire seating layout is organized. It's a flat office. There's no cabins or there's no kind of a power hierarchies what you find in typical big organizations. So everybody is at the same level of seating, and then you just have an opportunity to just walk across, discuss some things, ideate, and try to accelerate the working environment on that aspects. Plus, anybody can approach anybody. So that's the whole philosophy here. We are also having certain mechanics to make sure that whatever work we are doing, the projects which are there, they're on track. And so certain processes you'll find which enable that kind of a coming together, collaborating, and then getting a big picture of what is happening around. So I would say it's a pretty interesting thing out here. So there's no fixed black and white kind of a stuff, but there are certain core values what we follow, and then everybody adds to the mix.
Right. So that sounds like an exciting place. Since we're talking about culture, Sirish, why don't you tell us a bit about how do people have fun at work at Ather?
Okay. That's very interesting because even if in my background, I worked in big corporates earlier, and this fun at work used to be something as a special initiative because the work itself used to be so engrossing or so intense. So you need to create separately fun at work. But at Ather, if you come around and see, the work itself is a lot of fun because you're creating something and you're fully charged up. So having said that, you're energized doing what you're doing because you connect with a purpose and you want to crack that. Apart from that, we have there's so many avenues internally itself. So there's a free cafeteria around. There are foosball tables. There's a table tennis tables around there where people can go spend time. And people gel together well in terms of not only limiting themselves to company-driven initiatives in terms of having fun. So I think that's what makes the company much better workplace, where people are on their own creating avenues to make sure that they're breaking out of the monotony, and suddenly somebody finds they're stressed out, they just walk over, and then there are a lot of collab tables which are out there, and it's a kind of a free open environment which helps you not to get entangled in that kind of a mindset which curbs you down.
Very cool. So it's like, since you're a smart electric company, you also have almost like self-charging point for people.
Yeah, that's one. And the other thing what you'll find very often is, so suddenly you'll find a whizzing sound past you. Somebody has driven the scooter past your desk and then taking it for testing in their desk and things like that. So I don't think any other company will have this kind of, I would say, environment out there.
That sounds so cool. Imagine you're sitting and working and suddenly you see scooters moving around in your office. How cool is that?
Yeah.
Very interesting. So Sirish, where is Ather headed from here? Where are you going?
Okay. So we have launched the first product in the market, and it has been a kind of a disruptive in nature because electric and being electric domain plus electric scooter, which is the most popular segment, has got a lot of eyeballs, and the policies and other things also favoring a lot more electric push in the market. So where we want to head from here is in terms of bringing more scale, in terms of covering more cities. We started slowly in Bangalore, next to Chennai. So more and more cities will be covered with this great product experience, what we want to extend to a lot of other people, number one. Plus, at the same time, being the kind of disruptors in the market, we would like to have more and more experiential products and solve these kind of problems so that people can adopt more and more on this. So we are not looking at as a scooter alone. So like what you already know, we are looking at the entire ecosystem which we have created around it. The electric scooters plus the charging ecosystem, plus a lot more backend in terms of what support the customer would require. So it's a kind of integrated solution what comes to the fore. So our focus is to make sure we build great products in the future, and then as a solution it has to be much more experiential and basically enhancing the customer experience around this, which has been, I would say, one of the things which is wanting in the industry, and then fit in that gap.
Okay, so that helps, and that's an exciting new world into the future for you. All the best to that.
Right, thank you so much.
So in closing, Sirish, what's the one message that you have for our audience, which is our engineering students who are getting ready to get into their new careers, into their first jobs?
Sure. See, one of the things what I believe personally, being an engineer as well, is it is all about creation. And when you're creating things, you follow your passion. I think that is one thing which is very important to have. And just don't create for the sake of creating, but let us see what problems we're trying to solve, what purpose we are making it. And then if you stick to your passion in terms of creating the solutions and solving the real life problems, I think that will go a long way, not only for a personal self, but also changing the society we're building. So let us follow our passion and let us make things better.
Fantastic. I think that's a very powerful message that you have for our audience. Thank you very much, Sirish. Thanks for joining us, and we wish all the best to Ather as it breaks new grounds and literally breaks new grounds over the scooter plus. And for everyone who's listening in, thank you so much, and wish you all the best as you look out for your first jobs, and do look at companies like Ather which are disruptive, which are making a difference to our environment, and have an exciting work culture. I mean, where else will you get to be working on a laptop and suddenly you see a scooter pass by next to you in the next cubicle? So have a great time and make your careers in a more interesting way. You were saying something, Sirish.
I just thanking you, Arjun, as well as the audience. I think it's been great, and then I look forward to a lot more youngsters coming and joining us. And it's a young company, so it is made up of fresh blood and then all new ideas. So we're definitely on to change the things around for the better, of course.
Yes, absolutely, for the better. Thank you so much. Thanks, Sirish, and have a great day, everyone.
Thank you so much.